to The Knowledgeist, and today we're going to be talking about maps, and also it's about geography. And you may be wondering why I have a National Geographic bee pin on my chest. Well, this is actually because I was able to participate in the National Geographic State Texas Geography Bee. Of course, I wasn't actually able to go to it because of the whole coronavirus situation, so I wasn't able to really compete. But they actually sent out a shirt and a pin. I'm also the first person in my school to actually ever go to the State Geography Bee. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I think. Let's begin! Thousands of years ago, the first maps were actually made. These tools were actually extremely useful, but also extremely crude. But you know, the trade-off is that you're able to find clean water and food and make your way back to home. As civilizations grew, better maps were needed though. The oldest existing maps were from the ancient kingdom of Babylon. In Babylon, they took pieces of damp clay, they etched on them to make symbols of rivers, mountains, and other important structures, and let them bake in the sun and waited for them to dry. Once they were dried, they used these pieces of clay as maps.
Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Early Chinese map makers actually used silk to make beautiful decorations and maps of the empire that they lived in. Civilizations all around the world used exactly what they had to make amazing maps. Polynesian islanders used something called stick maps to sail the entire ocean, but ancient world maps were incredibly incomplete. Until a few centuries ago, the world was neither fully explored nor fully mapped. This made early maps look extremely weird and goofy to us, since now we have the ability to use satellites to map the entire world using computers. For example, since most European explorers, nor even any explorers in general, never actually reached the southernmost point of Africa, they believed that Libya was basically the end of Africa, and after that it was just the Atlantic Ocean. They had no idea that there was a whole world of dry land below that. About 500 years ago, the age of exploration began. Many European sailors started sailing the entire world to find another way to India and the Japans. If they got there, then they could trade for spices, so they wouldn't have to go through the Middle East, which was at that time being blocked by the Ottomans. So this means that the entire rest of the world was only discovered because of a lack of spices. As the age of exploration went on, more map makers and sailors went farther and farther from the shores of Europe. Because of this, maps looked more realistic than ever before. When Columbus sailed west in 1492 to find the spicy lands of India, he was looking for a route from Spain to India and back, but instead he found the West Indies. Today maps are used to put the whole Earth or parts of the Earth on paper so that they can be easily understood and studied. Globes are the most realistic depictions of the Earth. Because the globe is a sphere and the Earth is also a sphere, that's why you can map parts of the Earth onto the globe with extreme precision. It is impossible to graph a sphere onto a flat piece of paper. This is why people use projections. Projection is basically a way for people to graph the Earth onto a flat map. The most common projection, which is usually studied nowadays, is called the Mercator's Projection. The Mercator's Projection is quite good because it's able to preserve straight lines and angles, which are actually straight lines on the globe. So that's why the Mercator's Projection is usually used in places like Google Maps, Apple Maps, and things like that. But there is a huge problem with the Mercator's Projection. So basically what happens is, in the Mercator's Projection, the most northern and the most southern parts of the Earth are extremely distorted. This means that this map is very bad if you're looking for if you're trying to understand the true nature of the Earth. For example, Greenland on the Mercator's Projection map looks to be about the same size as Africa, when in reality, it's way, way smaller than that. And so that's it guys for the maps video. And remember, the world is waiting for you. If you want to know even more about the whole world, then just find an atlas or a globe or literally anything. Even your phone can be used, because I'm sure your phone has Google Maps or Apple Maps on it. If you take a fancy to any place on Earth, then please feel free to go and look at it on an atlas, your phone, or a globe. So open a map or spin a globe. The world awaits you. Bye!